Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, October 26th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down the Sunday card and the two games on Monday, as we will be doing those on today's show as well, as we will be off tomorrow with no show, as we, conserve our energy for Tuesday, which is going to be a very busy day. We've got, obviously, the Daily Show will be half an hour earlier on Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and then our live betcast, Frozen Frenzy, 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday night. Cannot wait for it. Every team in action, all 32 teams, 16 games. Very much excited about the Frozen Frenzy live betcast Tuesday night starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. So very much excited about that. And as always, this is a free and open public betcast on Tuesday night. It's not Patreon exclusive. So feel free to reach out, DM or email me or Alex for a spot on the betcast, and we'll make sure we get the link out to you during the betcast on Tuesday night. So excited about that and looking forward to getting our betcast schedule ramped up again and started again for a new season starting Tuesday with the Frozen Frenzy live betcast. Just an absolutely massive Saturday slate, games in the afternoon, games well into the night, and it ended up being a pretty good day overall. Definitely a profitable day. We'll take it. Like I said, it started off great. Another Islanders game over the total as the Flyers come back to beat the Islanders 4-3 in a shootout. Great win for the Flyers. The overtime was very entertaining. I thought Samuel Ersson was really good when he had to be, made a couple of big-time saves late in the third period in the overtime to help the Flyers get that game in the win column. So nice win there for Philadelphia. Colorado, it has not been a great start to the road trip here for them as they begin it with a 3-2 loss to the Boston Bruins coming off that disappointing setback against Carolina. They fall short to the Bruins 3-2. We'll see if they can bounce back. They're in action early this afternoon. We'll get to that game soon against New Jersey. And they started off with a 3-2 loss there to the Boston Bruins. So, like I said, Colorado losing a couple of games in a row there. Toronto with a, you don't want to say a big win in October 25th, but it kind of felt like they needed something good to happen. And Toronto, after, a couple of subpar performances, and with Caden Primo in net, they get the 4-3 win against Buffalo in overtime. Another over in a Caden Primo start. It's one of the more surreal stats and trends that you could think of and imagine. 13 Caden Primo starts, and all 13 have had 7 or more goals, and all 13 have gone over the total. Pretty crazy. And it happened again in that Sabres-Leafs game. Gutsy, never say die, this Ducks team. Frustrated that they didn't win, but boy, they didn't quit. They were down 3-1. They tie at 3-3 in the third period, but it was an Anthony Cirelli power play goal that was the difference in a 4-3 Tampa Bay win. I thought Anaheim actually outplayed Tampa, outshot them 40-33. It was a really good game, but I don't want to say goalie controversy. There really isn't. It's Vasilevsky still, but Jonas Johansson is starting to, at times, look a little bit more steady than Andrei Vasilevsky. Is this going to continue? No, probably not. But you have to.
Isn't that a problem? Yes.
That is a problem. Yeah, there's a problem. But JJ, Jonas Johansson deserves some credit. He's obviously played. He's played well in both of his starts this year, and he was really solid yesterday for Tampa Bay. But it speaks to they got to get Vasilevsky going a bit better, in better form. Long term, but Tampa now, it's a good sign. That's back-to-back wins for them now at home. So we'll see how they fare here in this one for Tampa Bay. But it's nice to see them get off the schneid there and get that 4-3. Not so nice because I was on Anaheim, but I did have the Anaheim team total over 2.5, so it was a split. We split with the two Anaheim bets in that game. So like I said, it has been a struggle for this team. They lost to Columbus and Chicago, Detroit, Washington, 4 in a row. They were 1-6. Now they're 2-6 following that win against Anaheim yesterday. And just on the other games, just to quickly, as far as they go, we saw Ottawa pounding Washington. How about that result? yesterday. All Senators 7-1 over the Washington Capitals. It was pretty much a beatdown right from the start. Senators doing tons of damage, just opening it up on the Capitals. Capitals run a back-to-back, but that's still not a complete excuse for playing that poorly on home ice. But Ottawa 7-1 win. How about Utah? The roll continues. The Mammoth playing some tremendous. The Mammoth are number 1 in the Western Conference right now. I mean, things that make you do a double take on October 26th is standings that might change between now and April. But still, right now, Utah is the number 1 team in the Western Conference. First in the West after that 6-2 win over Minnesota last night. How about Logan Cooley, guy? This guy is just can't be stopped right now. What a couple of games it's been for him. 2 goals, the first 2 goals of the game. He added an assist on the Paterka goal in the third period, and a nice dominant 6-2 showing for the Utah Mammoth there. Florida, much needed after losing to Pittsburgh at home the other night. They shut out and blanked the Vegas Golden Knights. Not easy to do with how much firepower the Golden Knights have shown us this year. But Florida able to shut them out 3-0 in that game. Brutal loss for the St. Louis Blues. Awful. 4-0 lead, 3 minutes into the second period. 6 unanswered goals for the Detroit Red Wings. Gosh, I mean, it's that concern level. I'm not there yet with panic, but that concern level for St. Louis is rising. 4-0 lead in Detroit, and you give up a 6 spot unanswered. The Red Wings roar back to win 6-4 last night over the St. Louis Blues, and they lose Robert Thomas to injury in that game, the Blues as well. So you lose the game in just horrific fashion. You also lose one of your best players to injury, your top-line center. Not good for St. Louis there. Columbus, 5-4 win over Pittsburgh in a shootout. The barrage of overs in the Jackets-Penguins head-to-head series continues. And a nice win for the Jackets, bouncing back after the tough loss to Washington at home the night before. Best bet winner with Montreal. 4-3 win against Vancouver. Gave up the first goal, but came back and ended up getting the 4-3 win. Jakub Dobeš keeps getting wins, and Montreal keeps getting wins with him in net. And they're not getting as many wins with Sam Montembeault in net. So the goaltending questions about who is going to ultimately be the goalie that gets the majority of the starts and the opportunities moving forward is still out there for Marty St. Louis and the Montreal Canadiens. And then last night in the later games, Nashville, tell you what, for the game that 2 teams I'm not that fond of, 5-4 shootout. The shootout went on forever, which kind of speaks to the lack of ability to actually finish in a shootout that maybe both teams have at times. But 5-4 Nashville in the shootout there. First period over, best bet for Alex with Carolina Dallas with the 2-0 Carolina first period. But Dallas responds, and just when it looked like here we go again with Dallas, another loss, the struggles continue. 3 unanswered for the Dallas Stars, and they come back to beat the Hurricanes 3-2. Disappointing we couldn't get the over 5.5, but that's okay. We split. We had the first period over as well. Brandon Bussey, pretty solid, actually, even though Dallas won that game. 31 saves on 34 shots. And like I said, Dallas getting the win. But Dallas losing Roope Hintz to injury on a hit that he incurred from Taylor Hall. So keep an eye on that. That would be a big loss if he has to miss significant time for the Dallas Stars. And we know Roope Hintz has had his share of injury concerns in the past for Dallas. So that is something to keep an eye on. And then Seattle. Give Seattle credit. Long-ass road trip. First game home. And wasn't pretty. The Edmonton was kind of carrying the play for a lot of that game, but Joey Decord was great. Seattle was opportunistic. Jordan Eberle had a big game against his old team, and the Seattle Kraken with a 3-2 win against Edmonton. So very gutsy in a brutal spot. Very gutsy type of win there for the Seattle Kraken. Alex, thoughts on obviously a huge Saturday?
Yeah, like I said, there was a lot to unpack. 2 biggest games for me. One, that early game with Philly and the Islanders. I was really happy to see Philly get that win. I need one more win now from Philly before the end of this month, before the end of this week, to cash my over 10.5. They're right there at 9 points. So that's a fun bet. Unfortunately, lost the other October bet I had at under in New Jersey. I wasn't expecting them to come out as high as they did, certainly. But like I said, it's interesting seeing the Metro kind of being in a cluster. We expected that, but seeing this weird upside down look of the Central Division right now is just bananas. To see Utah, like you said, in first place, to see Dallas and St. Louis and the Wild playing bad. These were teams that were in the playoffs last year, and they look like lottery teams at the moment. It's just bizarre. And then, of course, you've got Chicago and Nashville, the season we're in right now, both being wild card spots. So obviously, like I said, it's still October. Things are going to shuffle around and change, but it seems like some of these things won't change that fast. Like I said, Dallas, if they lose Rupe Hintz now, and they're already struggling offensively, and the depth that we thought was so grand and rich from this team hasn't really produced. The bottom six guys haven't been anywhere. Where's Maverick Bork? You know what I'm saying? Where are these guys that we saw chip in at key moments and help out that team last year and the last 2 years when injuries came about? It just don't seem to be there right now. Minnesota still having issues with their defense, still not playing well at home, not being able to get their rhythm under them. Kirill Kaprizov, is he still counting his cash? Like, what the fuck is he doing? He'll score, but then all of a sudden he's absent. He's not playing at that high level that he was playing at last year to earn the money that he's got this year. There's a lot of concern I have for some of these teams in the Central right now, and some things may not change that soon. St. Louis, like you said, that's problematic. You have a 4-0 lead against the Detroit team that had been playing kind of shaky hockey themselves. After
that can't
their
happen.
streak,
You got to win that. I don't care.
you got to win that game. Yeah. So it's really topsy turvy, and it's making for certainly fun to watch. But you have to really feel a little more mindful betting.
Momentum swings. Yep.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, so those are the two big takeaways. That Utah game was fantastic, but Utah is good, and I think Utah's quality play will continue to rise well, especially if they getting a lot from Vemelka. They can't burn Vemelka out though. That's the thing. He's already played a lot of games so far. You're gonna have to rely on your backups at some point. As good as he's played and as comfortable as that team feels with him in net, they're gonna have to try and win some games with him on the bench.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Andre Tourigny's not exactly shown a propensity to give him adequate rest, but nevertheless, I think at some point you're going to have to, especially. But you know what? Utah's fun to watch, Timothy. Great point in the chat. Yeah, they're fun. They've
a lot of fun to watch.
The vision on the ice is outstanding. You can tell that their young players were talented last year. I find that they are more confident with the puck this year, even compared to last year, even more so. So it's been impressive to watch that team operate, and hats off to them. They're fully deserving of this great start. All right, let's get into the Sunday card. We'll begin with a game that starts in about 30 minutes from now. Colorado, New Jersey. Fitting because I don't have much on this game. New Jersey minus 130, home favorite, 6 the total. Really don't have much. I mean, I don't want to step in front of the Devils. Devils are playing great hockey. They've got the rest advantage, obviously. They're used to these games, these early games in the afternoon. Back-to-back situation for the Colorado Avalanche, obviously after losing to the Boston Bruins yesterday by a score of 3-2. Obviously, we saw Scott Wedgwood get the start in goal for the Avalanche yesterday in the 3-2 loss to Boston. We should see Trent Miner today. It probably will be on a back-to-back, you would assume, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet. Obviously, Mackenzie Blackwood's still out of commission, so you have to assume Trent Miner's going to get the start here for the Avs. Started the one game, actually not start, but he appeared obviously in the game against Carolina with the 20 saves coming into that game in relief of Scott Wedgwood against the Hurricanes earlier this week. We'll see how he fares here in this game. And Colorado, obviously, I don't like betting against Colorado off a loss. That's so I'm not going to. But the Devils have just given me no reason to bet against them. They're playing well. They're scoring. Their power play's been great. Jack Hughes been awesome. They've been getting contributions up and down the lineup. Jake Allen, who's going to be in net for the Devils, has been very, very good. 2 goals or less in 4 of his 5 starts so far this year for New Jersey. Very impressive stuff. Giving this team a chance to win 4 straight victories for the Devils with Allen in net. He's 4-0, 1.71 goals against average, .932 save percentage. So, there's not really much here for me other than maybe a lean to the draw, but not much here. One prop I'm on. I'll give that out in a moment. Alex, what do you think? Avs, Devils.
Yeah, this is one that was kind of a pass for me too. If Minor start, and like I said, New Jersey's used to playing these earlier start times on the weekends. I'd maybe take a shot with Devils to score first goal, first period. plus 115. But other than that, this would be a pass. So maybe more of a live game.
Connor Brown, New Jersey, to score a goal. A
Yeah.
good price. Scored the last game for the Devils against San Jose on Friday. So, like I said, I'm always interested when you're seeing him make an impact. I mean, plus 700 or so for him to score a goal in this game as well. So I like that value for sure. Connor Brown for the New Jersey
Maybe
Devils.
Connor Brown first goal. Cash both
There
of that.
you really get good value on that. No
Yeah.
question. That would be one hell of a price, no doubt. All right, Vegas, Tampa Bay. This is an afternoon game as well. This is a late afternoon game, 5 p.m. Eastern time. We've got Tampa Bay minus 140 home favorites. The total here sitting at 6.5 in this game. I think I might take Vegas here. Off a loss, shutout loss to Florida. I know Lightning get the win, and you like to think, well, they finally won a game against Anaheim yesterday. It's time to build on it. I need to see more, though. I do. And one game is not enough, in my opinion, to really prove to me that the Tampa Bay Lightning are back and in business here. So when I look at this team, I want to see more, and I like the idea of Vegas off a loss. These great teams off a loss. We'll see. The only hang-up I have with the side in this game and taking the Golden Knights at a nice underdog plus price is Lindbaum. Carl Lindbaum is going to get the start here for the Vegas Golden Knights. 22-year-old goalie with Aiden Hill still out with a lower body. Akira Schmid started yesterday against Florida, so they're not going to put him in on a back-to-back. Lindbaum, in the 2 games he started in Henderson with the Silver Knights in the American League, very good numbers. One goal against, 958 save percentage. Last year, 2.65 goals against average, 912 save percentage. But this is NHL debut. Let's see how he fares. We've said this a million times. It's basically regurgitating the same stuff I say about a goalie that's now making his NHL debut. It could go one of two ways. He could be great. It's case by case. I've seen goalies just look like Marty Brodeur in their NHL debut in this spot. And then I've seen guys get lit up for 5 or 6. So, it could go either way. I'm going to bank on series history in this matchup. Vegas, Tampa Bay. 6 straight games have had 6 or more goals, 5-0-1 to the over, and not just 5-0-1 to the over in the 6 games, but the first period and full game overs have cashed in every single recent Lightning Golden Knights head-to-head matchup. Go look at it. Go look at the series history. First period over and full game over pretty much every single time. The last 5-6 meetings between these two teams has gone over, both the first period and the full game over. So that's the bet I like even more. I'm going to sprinkle on Vegas, but primarily I'm hammering the over by Fecta here. Over 1.5, over 6. Vegas and Tampa Bay. Alex, what do you think here? Golden Knights, Lightning.
Yeah, right there with you, but I'm going to be playing those live, trying to get a little bit of a 5.5 and a better number on that 1.5 link because you're leaning 140 to 145 right now. Just the notes on Lindblom that I have, looking just at his numbers in Henderson, nothing, it's super duper impressive. 18, 15, and 2 with a 2.65 goals against and a 912 save percentage. Those are some decent numbers save percentage wise in that AHL Pacific division where those teams play each other a lot. They play a lot of back-to-back, back-to-back-to-back. They'll play 3 games in a weekend kind of stuff. So you'll see inflated numbers usually from goaltenders in that specific division of the AHL. You can kind of maybe take that with a little grain of salt sometimes if they're inflated. But anything below 3 is fairly decent. So I still need to see more before I say, I'm jumping on Vegas. But I do like this enough to where I can back the over, like I said, first period and full game, and I'm going to grab those live.
All right, there we go. I like it. I'm going to go back to the well. Didn't score nobody scored last night for Vegas. They got shut out by Florida. But we'll go back to the well with close shave Barbashev, Dorofeyev as well for the Vegas Golden Knights in this game. And one of the catalysts got a big goal for them later in the game on the power play. Anthony Cirelli. We'll look in his direction for the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, San Jose and Minnesota. We've got Minnesota minus 200 home favorites, 6.5 being the total in this game. The Sharks on this road trip getting their first win in that crazy back and forth affair with the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden, 6-5 in overtime. But they weren't able to follow that up on the back-to-back Friday night in New Jersey, losing 3-1 to the New Jersey Devils. Still just 1-7 on the season. But that one win was enough to spare Ryan Warsofsky's children, as we mentioned earlier. Now we'll see how they fare here against Minnesota. I am not taking Minnesota at this price. It's just Do I want to back San Jose? And when you look at series history, it's hard to back San Jose. It's 8-2 for the Wild in the last 10, including 7 straight victories for the Minnesota Wild over the San Jose Sharks. That being said, these two teams in Grand Casino Arena, did I get that right? There we go. Finally, Grand Casino Arena, 8-7 last year between these two teams, Minnesota in overtime. I'm going to take San Jose plus 1.5, minus 130 here. I don't have the guts to take money line, but I'll take them with the rest advantage here, plus 1.5, minus 130 in this game on the puck line. I'm starting to do a few more puck lines because, look, some of these puck lines now in the big dog, involving big dogs, they're reasonable enough prices to take it, less than minus 150. As I always say, minus 150 is kind of my cutoff point as far as a price that I will lay. So that plus 1.5 at minus 130, I am kind of interested in that here with the San Jose Sharks in this game. We'll see what we're going to get from presumably in net for the Minnesota Wild, Jesper Wallstedt, you would think, after it was Philip Gustafsson yesterday. Wallstedt's just got the 2 starts under his belt this year. He got a 4-3 shootout win against the LA Kings, but a 2-1 loss to the Philadelphia Flyers after that. I'll be honest, he actually played pretty solid in both games. I definitely think he's looked better in 2 starts this year than he did last year for the Minnesota Wild. So steps in the right direction here for Wallstedt. It's expected to be Alex Nedeljkovic for San Jose. That's not confirmed. We talked about, again, San Jose's just got a ton of injuries on the blue line, but that's been that way for weeks and weeks. I will say this, though. The New Jersey game, even though they lost, it was a step in the right direction. Giving up 3 goals is like a victory for this San Jose blue line right now, the way it's been going for them and the way they've been hemorrhaging goals allowed. But, I'm going to dabble in San Jose plus 1.5, but that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Jonathan, if there's another approach you can take if you like San Jose, Jonathan mentioning San Jose team total over 2.5, minus 110, saying that the Wild have given up 3 or more 6 times already this year. So that could be an option. And obviously with San Jose, they're a team as it is. Probably trust them to be able to put the puck in the net a little bit more than trusting them to keep the puck out of the net. Alex, what do you think here? Sharks, Wild.
That's one of the plays that I'm on. San Jose team total, like I said, over 2.5. I actually got minus 115, so shop around for the better price. But I also like the draw here. I don't know if it's going to be 8-7, but I could see goals back and forth, especially with Minnesota. Like I said, the defense has just been bad. Wallstedt hasn't looked like everything that I had been hearing over the last 3 years that he was going to be the heir apparent and the de facto number 1 in net at some point. I don't see it. I don't see it. He's looked really, really shaky at times. And Nedeljkovic is a guy we can't necessarily trust to win a game. So I will be on the draw plus 360. I'm going to take a shot with Big Willie, Will Smith at 80-1 to get the game winner in OT. But more than those plays, I like over team total with San Jose.
All right, there we go. Good stuff there with the San Jose, liking the draw on the San Jose team total over, and that Will Smith shot there for the game winner in overtime, which I know he cashed 1 or 2 of them already earlier this year. A Wild 0-2 the second half of a back-to-back this year. So, again, small sample size because it's so early in the year. But, Will Eklund's the goal prop I took here, Mark. Good. Yeah, you beat me to it. Don't sleep on Eklund. Yeah, Eklund scored against the only goal against New Jersey. I'm going to take him around that plus 300 range here to find the back of the net tonight for the San Jose Sharks here in this one. Yeah, don't be surprised if this is a tricky game for Minnesota. I think they might get pushed here in this one by by San Jose in this matchup. All right, how about maybe the hottest team? Certainly one of the hottest teams going in the NHL right now, the Utah Mammoth, who continue this blistering run of theirs, and they take it to Winnipeg. This will be a test, though, against the Winnipeg Jets, historically very strong here at Canada Life Center. We've got Winnipeg minus 160, home favorites, 5.5, 6 the total here in this game. Shop around. If you like the under, find 6. If you like the over, find 5.5. Both are available depending on the book that you're looking at here. Basically, these teams played 4 times last year. Home team won every game. Winnipeg won twice at home. Utah won twice at home. But Utah, 6 straight wins. It's been impressive. 6-2 win against Minnesota yesterday over the Wild. Great stuff to see that. Like I said, it's been very impressive. That being said, you've got to this has to be the spot where Karel Vejmelka gets a blow, gets a rest. you got to think we're seeing Vitek Vanacek here tonight for the Utah Mammoth in net for them in this game. Winnipeg coming off another win, bounce back, I should say, after the loss to Seattle, 3-0. But they bounced back and they beat Calgary for the second time this week, 5-3 in their last game. We'll see how this one plays out for the Winnipeg Jets. We do expect Connor Hellebuck, of course, to get the nod in between the pipes here. By the way, Adam Lowry closing in on a return. He's on the ice skating again. He's not going to play tonight, but he's close to coming back for the Winnipeg Jets. So I know they'll love having their captain back sooner rather than later. For the Utah Mammoth, it's just been an impressive display of offensive wizardry from them. 6-7-4. Just in the last 3 games alone, 17 goals scored. It's been very impressive. It's a really good clash here is that Utah's been scoring in bunches, but who's great at keeping teams from scoring? That would be the Winnipeg Jets, especially at home where they can be so stingy defensively. So we'll see how this one plays out. We don't have anything to compare this to as far as back-to-backs this season for Utah because this is their first back-to-back of the season. They haven't had one up until this point. But I'm going to lay off. As tempting as it is to ride the hot hand with Utah plus 140, I'm tempted. This is going to be a challenge for them. Winnipeg's damn good defensively. Winnipeg, obviously, last year, this year, always one of the better home records, I should say, in the NHL. So I lean Utah. I'm certainly not fading them on this win streak, but I'm not running a bet on them here against a team like Winnipeg that might have the defensive prowess to, shut them down, especially on a back-to-back. Tough spot for Utah coming in from Minnesota. Alex, what do you think here? Utah, Winnipeg.
This is a pass pregame, and this will be one I'll be watching live, maybe jumping in on some live action, especially, like I said, Utah's in great form, but Winnipeg has been suffocating teams, even though they haven't been getting necessarily, the wins by margin. They've been able to suffocate teams at home of late and play that kind of low and slow hockey. So it's one I want to wait and see where the pace goes.
All right, good stuff. If they fall behind, I might grab Utah in game. I'd wait for a better price and think maybe they, slow start here. Winnipeg gets the first goal, which is very possible. All right, next up, we've got Dallas and Nashville. Dallas minus 150, road favorites here in this game, and the total sitting at, it opened 5.5, and it was around, actually it was 5.5, minus 110, minus 115, and it's been a pretty big move here on this total because it's gone all the way to 6 now at most spots here with the Stars and the Predators. Keep in mind, Rope Hintz, day-to-day, left that game due to injury from the Taylor Hall hit yesterday, is undergoing further evaluation, so we'll see if it's going to be day-to-day, week-to-week. The severity is not yet known. What we do know is he left that game and probably very much in doubt that he plays here. So, all of a sudden, they're going to have to find some center ice help here, Dallas, because, they're already without Duchesne. And now you're talking about, Wyatt Johnston, Sagan, Faxa. Is Oscar Beck going to be in the equation now? So there's going to have to be some shuffling going on here for Dallas a little bit. And already, like I said, still without Duchesne and Ben up front. Nashville, of course, the big news yesterday, and we mentioned this on the show right toward the end. Roman Josi, week to week with an upper body injury. And for a blue line that's not great, the best even with the captain and the best defenseman on the team on the ice in Josi, now it really takes a hit because now you're down to Brady Shea, Nick Perbix, Adam Wilsby, Justin Barron, Spencer Stastny. There is good news, though. Nicholas Hague came back and from injury last night against Los Angeles to make his Predators debut after coming over from the Vegas Golden Knights. So that is big, at least, even though you're going to miss Josi tremendously, and he's basically someone you really can't replace, at least you got, one of your important defensemen back and able to play for the first time this season in Nick Hague. Dallas played yesterday against Carolina. Nashville played yesterday against LA. Nashville started UC Saros yesterday. Dallas started Jake Ottinger today. I'd be shocked if we're not sitting here tonight with a Casey DeSmith for Dallas, useless Onanen matchup here in net, and Eustace Onanen, of course, for Nashville. Justus Onanen started one game this year. That's how much they don't trust him at the moment. He started one game this year for Andrew Burnett and the Predators. It was in Toronto, and he got shelled for 7 goals. So, I mean, yeah. I'm part of the reason this moved, I think, probably, because I jumped on overs once I figured out it was probably going to be the Smith versus Onanen. First period, full game over. I'm on the over by Fecta here. I know Dallas had stayed under last night. I know there's still some, and Hintz being out hurts the top line because there is good chemistry there that Rantanen has had with Hintz. Now without him, who knows how that's going to impact the top line and their production moving forward. There's going to be some juggling probably from Glenn Gulletson without Hintz if he doesn't play tonight. But you can't deny that. And DeSmith gave up 5 goals, I believe, in his one and only start this year for the Dallas Stars. So these are 2 goalies. It's hard to trust them right now. I think DeSmith can step in there and play capably. I don't know if Justus Onanen can do that. So, I'll grab a over by Fecta here in this one with the Stars and the Preds. Alex, what do you think here? Dallas, Nashville.
This is a pass because I can't trust Dallas to score right now. Like I said, with the injury issues, this would normally be, we'd be running to grab 5.5 of the backups in these 2 teams. But it's just the way Dallas's form is right now. I just can't trust them. So this one, if I'm grabbing anything, it'll be live. Otherwise, it'll probably be a complete pass.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, if not tonight, I mean, against a goalie that we think is pretty fucking shaky.
Yeah.
When are you going to be able to score here if you're Dallas? That's going to be the consistently. What I will say is this is oddly, going back to January of 2024, this has oddly been a very high-scoring series. 4 overs, 3 unders, but when you look at it, but all but one of the games has had at least 6 goals in that last 7 games head-to-head. So that's why getting the significance of getting the 5.5 before it moved to 6 here in this game, I thought was pretty important. So, like I said, I'm just going to hope that, Nashville's no offensive juggernaut. We know that, but like I said, they at least scored 4 goals last night. Maybe it gives them some confidence. Dallas facing one of the weaker backup goaltenders in the NHL. Come on, guys. Get me to 6. I think you can do it. We'll see if they are able to do that. All right, next up, we've got L.A. and Chicago. We've got Kings Blackhawks. Kings minus 150. Road favorites. Total here sitting at, looks like 6 shaded to the over. Not a big surprise here because you figured he was going to get an opportunity at some point, but we are going to see Arvid Soderblom here in net tonight for the Chicago Blackhawks. He's not the auto fade he's been to me in the past, though. You remember he was in net for that shellacking that Chicago handed to the St. Louis Blues recently, 8-3 in that game. He is a guy that I've seen him. Obviously, I've seen him struggle. And I've also seen him, though, step up, play well. And there's been even the odd game or two where he's facing 30-plus, even up close to 40 shots and really playing well. So he's given me at least a few examples of times that he's capable, at the very least, of stepping up for the Chicago Blackhawks. And more importantly, this is L.A. on a back-to-back, getting in late from Music City. That was a long-ass shootout last night. That game didn't end, I think, till close to 11 p.m. Eastern time. Getting into Chicago. Probably pretty late. It's really set up nicely for the Blackhawks. And the Blackhawks, I would argue, are the team in better form right now. And statistically, it also matches that. The eye test tells you that Chicago's playing better. The stats bear it out. Chicago is averaging more goals per game this year than LA. Chicago is giving, here's the real stunner. Not stunning to me, because I've watched a lot of these 2 teams, but stunning to people that may just be casual observers and not really locked in and dialed in with these 2 teams so far. Chicago's actually got the better goals allowed per game this year than the Los Angeles Kings. No one would have thought that last year. Like, there's no way Chicago's got any chance to be a better defensive team than the Los Angeles Kings. People would think last year. And this year they have been. They have been actually a better defensive team. Spencer Knight's been a big part of it, and you probably do lose a bit of that with Soderblom as far as goaltending prowess. But throw that out for a minute. There's no doubt there's some structure. There's some semblance of team commitment defensively this year from this young Chicago Blackhawks team. And you got to give Jeff Blashill some credit for implementing that and getting this team to buy in, playing solid away from the puck. It's made a difference for this Chicago team. So even with Soderblom in net, and keep in mind, it's not like we've got Kelly Hrudey in his prime suiting up tonight for the Los Angeles Kings. Anton Forsberg's probably going to get the start, and he's been a hot mess in some of the times we've seen him this year. So give me Chicago at this price. I'm taking them. Home underdog. Wrote it up as a free play, by the way, at wizardsportspicks.com. Used it as a Sunday NHL free play on the website. Chicago, plus 130. Alex, what do you think here? Kings, Blackhawks.
Should the Hawks continue this positive run, Jeff Blashill right now, you can get 25-1 in him Adams Trophy. That may be something to put in your portfolio. Because
and we have to be truthful on this show. We weren't sold on that being the best hire, Jeff Blashill, initially. Not at all.
Nope. I was kind of concerned as a Hawks fan, but to see what he's done, like I said, just alone him and give credit to Michael Pekka too, who's another guy working with that defensive unit. Those two guys have done a tremendous job so far. I'd still like to see a little bit more consistency and creativity with the offense. But the offense has obviously done well because the talent is better. When you have Frank Nazar scoring damn near every night, getting a point per game, when you have Ilya Mikheyev stepping in and playing well, he's going to be on the top line, as will Andre Burakovsky back in the lineup for the Hawks. He had a new child. So, we always talk about that new dad bump. That might be something to look at. But I think it's a great spot here for the Hawks. Even with Soderblom in net, which I'm always cautious about. And even with his numbers against LA, 1-1-1 with a 441 goals against and an 878 save percentage. That's also, we're talking about not just different years, but different defenses in front of him. And a different Soderblom for that matter. Like you said, he's, still kept at the same level he's been at from where he ended last year, which was still higher than what we saw from previous years. He certainly doesn't look like a guy whose record is 18-52. But that is the case with his record. But I like the Hawks here plus money. I also have the draw because this has been fairly draw heavy, especially LA. I mean, they've been playing games. It seems like 60s hasn't been enough for them in a while. So we're definitely taking the draw here. But dog and draw split. And like I said, my bargain bin comes from this game as well.
Yeah, I'm on the draw now too because I just as you said you were on the draw, I started to look into it here. LA's gone past regulation 4 times this year, 4 in a row, and on 6 times already in how many games? 9. That's an insane amount of overtime or shootout hockey this year for the LA Kings. And Chicago, they've gone to overtime or shootout 2 of the last 3, and 3 times overall.
And the series history
have gone to overtime or shootout 2 of the last 4 head-to-head.
But most of those have been in LA. In fact, it's 3 or 4 games that have gone to OT that were played in LA. So that, like I said, I still think it's close enough and warrants of the draw. But I thought that was an interesting fact that most of those draws have been when the Kings are at home.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to sprinkle on Corey Perry for LA. Look at that. He's back in the lineup. They've got him back, and he scored in back-to-back games for the LA Kings. So the old man still can get it done. Corey Perry, I'm on Frank Nazar, of course, to score a goal. Makes sense. 2 goals. And, of course, we have to take Ryan Donato. There's no question. I mean, 4 straight games with a goal. He's been on an absolute heater right now for the Chicago Blackhawks. So Elephant Hands is done. That's finished. We're putting that in the drawer for now.
Yeah.
Elephant Hands. You deserve respect, my friend, the way you're playing right now for the Chicago Blackhawks and filling it up, getting the game winner in the final minute against Tampa Bay the other night. So, like I said,
had an overtime winner this year as well. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been impressive. No doubt about it. All right, Rangers and Flames. We've got New York minus 130, road favorites. The total here sitting at 5.5 across the board. I'm on a split bet here. Rangers minus 130, Calgary team total under 2.5. I think it's back to the offensively challenged Calgary Flames tonight. I think we go back to that here in this game, facing, of course, the great Igor Shesterkin, who's expected to be in net tonight for the New York Rangers. Dustin Wolf confirmed again for the Calgary Flames in goal. It looked like he was starting to get his game going again because he had the good start against Winnipeg, really good in a tough loss against Montreal, kind of stepped back against Winnipeg, but they're riding with Dustin Wolf, see if he can ride it out, get back on track. Rangers, say what you will about how much they've been struggling at home, struggling to score goals, struggling to win. I mean, they've lost actually 4 straight home games. The Rangers, they haven't won at home this year, 0-5, but they're 3-0-1 on the road. So it's been weird where they can't buy a win at home, but they've actually been very good on the road, or at least been a lot better on the road. So that's kind of why I'm on the Rangers here. Starting a road trip, you lost 2 in a row. Nothing kind of slaps you in the face more than losing to the San Jose Sharks on your home ice. So my thought process here is that the Rangers show up with a very good effort, hard effort here, starting this road trip. And again, if Shesterkin's on his game, do you trust Calgary to score? I don't. So I'm going to do a split here with Rangers money line and Calgary team total under 2.5, which is around even money. Alex here, what do you like? Rangers, Flames.
I'm playing this small and I'm doing a little experiment here because I like goals early, but I think things settle down after the first period. So I'm doing a little Matty Ross special, but I'm switching it up. Over 1.5 in the first period, under 6.5 in the full game, plus 258 at FanDuel for that. So that's the way I'm going to approach that. I think we get some goals early, and then it settles down. Maybe 1-1, maybe 2-0 Rangers, but then it settles down after that. And like I said, if Shesterkin's on his game, he can kind of coast from there. And like I said, these are two teams that don't play a whole lot of up and down hockey, especially if we're seeing the starters in that. So first period over, tied to the full game under 6.5. That's my play.
Oh, my bad. I was muted there the whole time. Yeah, as far as not much, I don't expect this to be one of the bigger offensive showcase games of the card here tonight, but I did dabble in Taylor Radish for the Rangers at plus 450. I think he's actually been one of their better forwards this year. Whenever I've seen the Rangers play, I've seen him play pretty well. So Taylor Radish, I think, might be worth a look here as far as a goal prop on the Rangers side of things. All right, our last game for this Sunday card. We'll break down the 2 Monday games, of course, right after that. We've got Edmonton and Vancouver. Edmonton minus 135, road favorites, 6 the total in this game. There's a back-to-back situation for the Oilers coming in from Seattle last night where they fell 3-2 at the hands of the Seattle Kraken. Back-to-back spot. Calvin Pickard almost assuredly will get the nod here after we saw Skinner last night against the Kraken. For the Vancouver Canucks, they went with Kevin Lankinen last night, so pretty good chance we see Thatcher Demko get the start tonight for the Canucks here on this back-to-back. Both teams obviously in a back-to-back spot. It's just a little bit more difficult here for Edmonton coming in from Seattle with the travel. Edmonton has definitely played Vancouver very well. Obviously, they got through them in the playoffs last year, but they were able to win 3 of the 4 meetings in or 2 of the 3 meetings in the regular season last year. Beat them already 3-1 in Edmonton earlier this year. We'll see how this one plays out. But like I said, Rich H, that's what makes this team that's what makes this spot, I should say, very tricky. Edmonton's played a ton of games in a short period of time, 6 games in 9 days. Vancouver, 7 games in 11 days. Seeing a lot of hockey between these two teams. We'll see how this one plays out. I'm going to dabble slightly in the over 6. It's just I find when you played this much travel, this many games in a short period of time, that's sometimes when your brain and your thought process when trying to make crisp plays with the puck goes out the window. And if that happens here with the fatigue component and the fatigue quotient in play, that's when the high danger chances could erupt. If both teams are a little bit, worn down from this just intense schedule that both of them have been on of late. So I lean to the over. I have a small bet on the over. I don't know, from a side perspective, Edmonton off a loss, I lean Edmonton, but Vancouver's, at least gets to sit and stay at home for this one following last night. And it is a revenge spot because they lost in Edmonton earlier this month. So I'm torn on the side. It's probably one of these games where take plus money, whoever gives up the first goal. I don't think that's the worst thing to consider in this game if you're undecided, as I am right now with the side, but we'll dabble small in the over pregame. Alex, Oilers, Canucks.
There we go. Yeah, this is a pass for me. Like I said, late game one, I'll kind of watch and see. But I haven't had a good read on Edmonton lately, and even with Vancouver, I struggled with a couple of some of those live looks with these two teams. So I'll wait and see for something, but not pressing it, not pushing it. Especially like I said, we're heading into Tuesday with this big slate, big card. I probably won't have much on this, and like I said, we'll talk about the Monday games. I'm keeping a little lower volume with that too to kind of gear up for Tuesday. So.
Good stuff. Nothing wrong with that. And by the way, it looks like there's a chance at least. Lucas Reichel might be worth a shot because he's on the second line. They're giving him a little bit of exposure tonight, Vancouver. And I'm seeing Isaac Howard, the young kid, might be playing with McDavid here tonight to start this game for Edmonton. So there could be some value certainly with Isaac Howard, if that is going to be indeed the case, that he's up there with number 97, Mr. McDavid. All right, so that's Sunday, but we aren't on tomorrow. So we are going to move forward to Monday and tee up the 2 games coming up on the Monday NHL slate. And by the way, it's 2 teams that are not in action here today. So that's the good thing. We've got St. Louis and Pittsburgh. St. Louis, minus 120 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. I am going to look. I don't know if I trust 60 minutes of hockey right now from the St. Louis Blues after what I saw against Detroit. But a loss like that, and I can only imagine Jim Montgomery, fit to be tied when you have a 4-0 lead and you lose 6-4. Terrible loss for the Blues. I certainly feels like a really, really strong situational, focused, dialed-in bounce-back spot for the Blues. And the Penguins are going to start losing. I mean, they finally lost against Columbus on Saturday. I could see them now starting to maybe look more like the weaker Penguins team we expected coming into the year. Like, I want to make a case for St. Louis. I don't know if I want to fully trust them full game, though. What I will be targeting here is some kind of, and again, this is tomorrow, so I haven't locked anything in yet, but some kind of St. Louis first period puck line, St. Louis to score a goal in the first period, something along those lines. I think the first 20 minutes, you'll see this team flying. They damn well should be after a loss like that. Now, it is concerning Robert Thomas got injured. His status is up in the air. Well, he'll get evaluated, and we'll see how significant his injury is. That's your top-line center and one of your most important players on the entire team. So it would be concerning being without him. But like I said, for St. Louis, I think in the first period we'll get them playing with their hair on fire after a loss like they suffered against Detroit. So I don't know about the full game trusting them, but I think the first period, either puck line or to score in the opening 20 minutes on the Blues, that will be something I've got circled, something I'm interested in for this game on Monday night. Alex, what about you here? St. Louis, Pittsburgh.
Caesars has plus 175 for that first period puck line with St. Louis. So that may be the best route there. I would maybe even look at St. Louis team total. Wait for a flat 3 at MGM. But like I said, playing the small, whatever I do.
Yeah, and of course, great call, Jonathan Davis, as far as Ricard Raquel, and great to mention that. Yeah, hand surgery, out 6 to 8 weeks. And, that's the one thing this team really couldn't afford, because his chemistry with Crosby and Rust, like, that is a hell of a line. No question. And now you take Raquel off that line, and now you're going to have to look for another option and another answer at the left wing spot on that top line with Crosby and Rust. What, are you going to give Mantha that shot? I mean,
and Rust was hurt. Rust got hurt at the beginning of the year, and now you have Raquel out for that time. So your best line hasn't been together for maybe more than 4 games, 5 games. Like I said, it's only going to get worse for Penguins.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, there's definitely some concerns there as far as what we're going to see from that group. Buchnevich, Neighbors, as far as goal props in this game, I would be interested in. They're both on some streaks right now as far as finding the back of the net for the Blues. Hallander practiced with the top line. Landon on top of things. Great stuff. It's good to know that. So we'll see. Maybe he's going to get that look. Philip Hollander here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Maybe he's going to get that spot. There'll be value on his prop, that's for sure, if he's playing with Crosby and Rust on Monday night there. All right, Boston, Ottawa. Ottawa minus 190, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Something tells me Ottawa, they got through, they went through their little funk there, struggles, problems, obviously, adjusting to being without Brady Tkachuk. Goaltending and defense a bit shaky, but boy, oh boy, they've had a nice couple games in a row. Beat Philly at home, pounded Washington 7-1 on Saturday night. So they look like they're getting things rolling again, possibly. Doesn't mean I'm ready to lay minus 190, though, with them. Obviously, that goes without saying. What will we do with this game? I know Ottawa at home against Boston. I know last year they played pretty well against the Bruins, especially in this building. I'm looking at the head-to-head. Yeah, Ottawa won both games last year, 6-5, 6-3 against the Boston Bruins last year, took both meetings, and actually beat Boston 3 of the 4 head-to-head meetings overall last year, but scored 6 in the 2 games against Ottawa. So I probably may look at an Ottawa team total over 3.5 here. That's definitely what I've got, written down here, is something I might look toward. You could Ottawa in regulation, says Steven Jackson. Yeah, that's an option too. But I might go with that over 3.5. You're going to get a decent price on it. Boston's not a defensive juggernaut. I know they had a good game yesterday against Colorado. Give them credit for that. But before that, this team was giving up a lot of goals in bunches. And now they're on the road. It's one thing to do it at home. Going on the road, and we saw Boston really have a tough time on their recent road trip. They gave up 7 to Anaheim on the, they gave up 4 to Colorado, 6 to Vegas on the recent road trip. Did have some issues defensively. So, Allmark too against his old team. Yeah, and Allmark has struggled, but he's played a little bit better now his last couple of games, and now he gets to play his old team. He'll be fired up, amped up to, try to shut the door against them. So, yeah, I could get there maybe with an Ottawa team total here, over 3.5 when it's all said and done. Alex, Monday night, what do you think here? Bruins, Senators.
I'd look for a full game over, but I'm seeing 5.5 at -125. So that's usually a spot in the price where I'll wait and try and grab in game, get something closer to pick and price. So, yeah, more than likely we'll be on that over 5.5. And of course, we will have anything that we finalize up on patreon.com/Ice Guys for the actual Monday card. We're just going over the games now. So,
no doubt. I like Dylan Cousins. Morgan Geeky's red hot. So there's a couple. And Pinto, of course, goes without saying. Those are my favorite props for Boston and Ottawa on Monday night. And yes, we will have our Monday card posted on Monday on the Patreon page, of course, for everyone that's a member there. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Busy Sunday, of course, with it being an NFL Sunday, which means it's a great time to check out wizardsportspicks.com. Everyone with premium picks there on a busy NFL Sunday, NHL, NBA, you name it. It's been a great run for me on the website. Check out me, Alex B. Smith's plays, Matt Robinson. We're all there. Tons of great handicappers. Check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. And also, of course, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. We'll have our daily card posted a little bit later this afternoon, certainly before the Vegas-Tampa game. We'll get it posted. Sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page, our daily NHL betting card, goalie charts, totals charts, exclusive content, future live betcasts that are exclusive to Patreon members, all that and more. Make sure you sign up. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show, keeping it going long term. $10 per month. Check it out, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
and also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You have until midnight Eastern tonight to save 25% on all orders $70 or more. So you want to add 2 or 3 items to your cart, get over that $70 limit, and you'll be able to hit the redeem button for 25% off of your order. That's until midnight tonight. We've got tons of merch in there. We've got a new look with the Get Franked shirts. We'll have some more new merch coming in November as well. So definitely check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, great stuff there. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and Queens shop.
All right, check out all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis at royalcannabisshop.com. 20% off with promo code IceGuys. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this Sunday. Lots to choose from. A big Sunday card, which is rare on an NFL Sunday to have an NHL slate this big on a Sunday, but it's a good slate. Excited check it out. What do we got, Alex, for Bargain Bin Special today?
6 o'clock Sunday start at 1901 West Madison. LA taking on Chicago, and we got a new dad back in the lineup, and then the top line as well, Andre Burakovsky. You can get him anytime goal scorer plus 450 at DraftKings. The best price available. I'm seeing some other books that have prices within that 370 380 range. So obviously shop around, get the best number available. But Andre Burakovsky, the new dad, to get a goal for the Chicago Blackhawks tonight at plus 450. That's my Sunday Bargain Bin Special.
I like it. The new dad bump. Andre Burakovsky for the Chicago Blackhawks for Alex B. Smith with his Bargain Bin special of the night. My Bargain Bin special, excuse me, for this card. I'm going to that same game, but I'm going to go with Corey Perry. Yeah, that's right. Corey Perry. 2 games in a row with a goal. This is when he gets on one of these runs, look out. He can catch fire. He can get on a heater for a little bit. Even in his 40s, we know he knows where to go. Excuse me, he knows where to go to score goals. Plus 550 for Corey Perry for the LA Kings to find the back of the net. Corey Perry plus 550 for my Bargain Bin special of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Well, let's just keep it with that same game and give me the Blackhawks at a plus price at home. Like I said, good momentum, and right now they are simply just a better team than LA. LA is an absolute mess when you look deeper into the analytics and you look at how well Chicago has played defensively, how tight of a series this has been. Of course, we've seen, like I said, a lot of games go past regulation. Give me the Blackhawks here to get a win at home on this Sunday for my best bet.
All right, Chicago plus 130 against Los Angeles. Best bet for Alex B. Smith, and best bet for me is going to be, we're going to bank on series history here in this late afternoon game. Vegas, Tampa Bay. It's been one after another, head to head. Golden Knights, Lightning. First period over, full game over. They've all been cashing. I'm going to go with the full game over this time, though. 6+ goals, 6 straight times between Vegas and Tampa Bay head to head. So Vegas, Tampa Bay, and we'll see Lindbaum, how he plays. But like I said, not the easiest team to play. Tampa Bay with a little bit more offensive confidence coming back with the 4 goals yesterday to beat Anaheim. Nikita Kucherov back in the lineup. So I think we'll see goals. Vegas, probably aggressive approach from them after getting shut out by Florida. So we'll go with goals down in Tampa. Vegas, Tampa Bay, over 6, minus 120 for my best bet here for this Sunday card. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. Again, no show tomorrow, but we're back Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern with the Daily Ice Guys show. And then, of course, our live betcast, 6 p.m. Eastern for the NHL Frozen Frenzy, our first betcast of the season. Looking forward to that Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And again, DM or email me or Alex for a spot on the betcast, and we'll get the link sent to you. All right, a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, as well as Saturday and Sunday. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. We are back Tuesday. Note the start time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time for another edition of the Ice Guys.